Now at 10, we have winter weather advisory still in place for a good portion of the area through tomorrow morning, but also wind chill advisories to talk about as well. We'll start diving into the forecast coming up.
Plus, an area aimed to shelter Joplin's homeless population has been shut down despite low temperatures. We'll tell you why. Also, 2 local hospitals welcome New Year's babies today. We'll introduce you to the newest additions to the 4 states.
The Pitt State women begin a 3-game road trip against Missouri Western this evening. We'll have the highlights in sports.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us for what is the first edition of the KOAM News at 10 in the brand new year of 2022. Unfortunately, though, the year is starting off on an unpleasant note with a bang of Arctic temperatures rolling in and wintry weather making some of those roads slick. We're going to begin tonight right now with meteorologist Nick Kelly on what's going on.
Well, we could start out with a look outside, Chris, from 7th and Range Line, but that's all we got for you. The freezing drizzle certainly did a number on the camera today, but the almanac certainly can tell the tale as well. We had midnight highs around 57 degrees. Then as that Arctic front rolled on through, the coldest we've been so far, according to the almanac, was 20 degrees at the start of the evening. With that said, though, we had rain, the vast majority of us, to start the day out, and we were worried that as temperatures plummeted, we might see some flash freezing. But you can see the vast majority of the major roads in southeast Kansas look okay. Maybe some side roads could be a bit tricky, but as far as the major routes are concerned, maybe 59 from about Kincaid over to about Hepler might be partially covered with a little bit of ice, a little bit of snow. Same goes for 75 between Neodesha and Independence. Not a big deal there. Looking at the Missouri side of things, we've got 49 across Vernon County, maybe a slither of Bates County as well, partially covered with a little bit of ice, maybe some light snow flurries. But the vast majority of southwestern Missouri, at least from MoDOT's point of view, looks pretty good. And not much to show from Oklahoma either. Vast majority of northeast Oklahoma looks okay, with the exception of some of the major roads actually showing a little bit of coverage, especially out in Washington County, Oklahoma. Doesn't change the fact, though, that for the vast majority of us, the winter weather advisories will hold on until the very latest at 6 a.m. going into Sunday. Wind chill advisories are also kicking into gear because behind this Arctic front that brought us the rain this morning and the wintry mess to deal with today, we still have this upper level low. That's going to try to bring a few more snow showers our way, but that will certainly do the trick. And plunging temperatures from single digits in our far northwestern counties overnight to about 10 around Joplin. But as the skies clear out, we are going to see things improve, and at least highs back near 24 tomorrow, Chris. We'll break down the rest of the forecast here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. And as we mentioned, those temperatures continuing to drop. Roads are quickly beginning to freeze over, primarily, as Nick mentioned, some of the side roads. We spoke with officials yesterday who did urge drivers to just simply stay at home if that's possible. But if you are traveling tonight, here's a list where you can find the latest road condition information for wherever you're going. If you're in Missouri, hit up traveler.modot.org. Kansas is candrive.org. In Oklahoma, you can visit oklahoma.gov/ODOT. And over in Arkansas, you can check out idrivearkansas.com. If you didn't catch all that, don't worry. We got links to all the sites on our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. They're also available in the palm of your hand with the KOAM News Now app. Well, throughout the week, we've told you about Lincoln Heights, a proposed shelter in Joplin to give hope to those experiencing homelessness. Well, as of last night, it's been shut down right before temperatures dropped with this wintry weather. KOAM's Bronte Saratsky tells us why the city is shutting it down and how community organizers are reacting.
The Joplin area was under a winter weather advisory Saturday night, with temperatures dropping as low as 12 degrees. For those experiencing homelessness, it can be life or death.
Certainly there's a large concern because we have more people living on the streets in Joplin than we have available beds in our available shelters. So there will most definitely be people outside sleeping in single-digit temperatures right here in our city. That's heartbreaking.
To help more experiencing homelessness seek shelter, a temporary warming station was set up by the Old Botany Shop in Joplin. But on Friday night around 8:30 p.m., Shackles tells us members of JPD had arrived due to numerous complaints and the area was shut down.
So our hope was to secure an empty building that did not have electrical or heat as a last-ditch effort to try to keep people alive during the cold snap. Apparently that is against some city regulations, and we have been told to cease that activity for now.
We reached out to Joplin Mayor Ryan Stanley to see why the city decided to make the move.
Well, when you're dealing with any time where you're going to house people, you've got to get a facility that is, compliant with our ordinances.
The mayor tells us the temporary shelter was not in compliance with city ordinances, like other area shelters are.
The facility does not have plumbing, which is required. And then also it's not zoned for the approval to house people. And so we would need them to come before the city with going through the zoning process, but also going through the inspection process to make sure that we are putting together safe solutions.
Now that the area is shut down, community organizers say they worry about capacity at Joplin's existing shelters and what will happen to the rest of the homeless population.
Having shelter is one of the most important things that a person can face in their entire life, and the lack of shelter can be devastating for a long time.
The city does have a temporary shelter and plans to open it up if temperatures are to drop below 0 degrees.
Our Justice Center there, right where the police department is, at 3rd in Kentucky, would be our warming center that we would open up. It wouldn't house people, but it basically would give people the ability to come in and get warm. And we will automatically open that up if we get temperatures below 0 degrees in kind of a sustained scenario, which we're not quite to yet. But I do know that the city is being proactive with our response and following our cold weather plan and policies.
But until then, the homeless population may have to look for other shelters to stay warm, which those working directly with the homeless say are full. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Today, community members gathered at Ewart Park in Joplin to distribute items like food and blankets to those experiencing homelessness. These items were originally going to be used for the warming shelter. Mayor Stanley also said he would be willing to discuss plans for the homeless population with the organizers of the warming center. As is a tradition, got to welcome some New Year babies. And at 7 pounds and measuring at 19.5 inches, Theory Draper is the first 2022 baby at Freeman. She was born at 10:39 this morning to Webb City parents Sarah and Greg Draper. Her parents tell us they chose the name Theory because it's so unique.
I just thought it was unique. I liked it because we were pretty set on Scarlet, and then my husband brought up Theory, and I was just, I've always been one for unique names, so that's why I liked it the most.
Now, Theory also has a unique spelling. It's Thyri. And Ascension Via Christi in Pittsburgh also welcomed a New Year's baby. Stetson Cole Weber was born this morning at 12:33 to Hannah Walters and Seth Weber of Prescott, Kansas. Baby Stetson came in at 8 pounds, 2 ounces, and 20.5 inches long. We want to congratulate all the new parents starting off 2022 in the best way possible. And we do take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Specialist Raymond Eaton served in the Army in Iraq with the 891st Engineering Battalion, his hometown, Fort Scott. We're proud to recognize Specialist Raymond Eaton, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, you want to learn more about other heroes, or if you've got one of your own you'd like to nominate, all you need to do is head over to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Still ahead, the latest on the fires in Colorado. And the chair of the FDIC announces her resignation. Recovery efforts after a devastating fire will now be receiving federal aid. President Biden announcing early today his approval of a disaster declaration in Colorado. This will allow rescue workers and those recovering to receive federal funds to help push those efforts along. Thousands of people have evacuated areas to the north and south of the city of Boulder. So far, no deaths have been reported in what has been named the Marshall Fire, but it is an estimated 1,000 homes may have been destroyed. The chair of the FDIC, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump, sent in her resignation on Friday. Jelena McWilliams, the chair of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, was the sole remaining Republican on the 5-member board. Although she did not mention it in her resignation, she had previously accused Democrats of a, quote, hostile takeover in a December Wall Street Journal op-ed. Now, the FDIC denied a request for comment about that or her resignation, which is effective February the 4th. The independent agency is responsible for ensuring deposits for U.S. banks. The next FDIC chair is expected to be Democrat Martin Gruenberg, who would likely be more supportive of President Biden's regulatory agenda. 2022 started off a lot like the end of 2021 for Kentucky, with severe weather destroying property and knocking out power. A tornado touchdown was reported in Hopkinsville, causing extensive damage to downtown businesses. Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency Saturday because of the weather system that threatened the state. Some of the areas in western Kentucky, which were hit hard by tornadoes just weeks ago, endured high winds and flash flooding. And a cold front expected later tonight could complicate emergency response efforts. And the new year came in with the firing of rockets in the Middle East. Israel's military says Palestinian militants in Gaza fired 2 rockets toward the Mediterranean Sea on Saturday, setting off an explosion off the shore of Tel Aviv. Video posted on social media reportedly shows the rockets passing through the sky above southern Israel. Authorities say there were no injuries and nothing was damaged, and there was no immediate claim of responsibility, and there's also been no word from Hamas, the Islamist group that rules the coastal Palestinian enclave. Hamas has occasionally test-fired rockets, launching them toward the sea. And the CDC says the average number of COVID cases in the U.S. has nearly quadrupled since Omicron was detected a month ago. Now, with the variant spreading fast, 2022 is off to a challenging start. CBS News correspondent Elise Preston reports from New York.
On his first day as New York's mayor, Eric Adams said the nation's biggest city remains open for business, even as COVID cases surge.
Despite COVID-19 and its persistence, New York is not closed. It is still open and alive.
After revelers gathered across the nation to ring in the new year, the U.S. continues to grapple with new infections. At least 15 states are seeing record new case counts. Nationally, more than 2 million cases were reported in 1 week. The spike is prompting dozens of U.S. colleges, including Harvard, to move classes online, at least for now. Hospitals in many parts of the nation are struggling to avoid becoming overwhelmed.
Our hospitals right now are at roughly the same numbers they were on the worst day of last winter's surge.
And many holiday travelers spent New Year's Day stuck at airports hoping to get home. Bad weather and COVID-related staffing shortages forced airlines to cancel thousands more flights. One New Year's Day tradition returned this year. The Rose Parade stepped off in Pasadena, California, after COVID canceled last year's festivities. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Early indications from South Africa, where Omicron first emerged, may offer some hope. The rate of cases there is declining just weeks after the highly contagious variant first appeared. Well, the Missouri Southern women are back on the court after the Christmas holiday. Danny Terzer is going to join us with that later in sports.
But first, we are breaking down the end of the storm system, especially overnight, and we'll see where we go from here when we come back. Well, I'm telling you, no matter which camera I look at and try to pull up, we're getting the same look. This is the live shot from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. But like the tower cam from 7th and Range Line, at least we're seeing a little bit more clarity here, but we still got a little bit of ice and freezing drizzle covering the lens. But it is showing at least maybe a couple rogue snow flurries trying to float about the camera. But winter weather advisories in the blue will hold on for all of southeast Kansas and most of southwestern Missouri north of 44 as late as 6 o'clock as we go into our Sunday morning. That being said, we're starting to see the precip of the system really wind on down. But now we got to deal with the cold, especially the wind chill advisories for a good portion of the area until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. But even if you aren't on the wind chill advisory, it's going to be a windy and cold night. But on the other hand, at least we're a little bit drier compared to how we started this morning out. Plenty of rain, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder at times too. Then as the cold air slammed in, we did see some areas north and west of Joplin pick up on light accumulations of a little bit of freezing rain, sleet, and some light snow. But now we're just waiting to see how this batch of snow on the radar network is going to unfold. It's trying to hold together, but you can see around Tulsa, the snow's really trying to break apart. So I expect this to try to hold together in some form, but weaken as it pushes on through. So all this will do during the overnight for some of you, Some light snow showers or snow flurries shouldn't amount to anything more between a dusting and 1/10 of an inch, or make that 1/2 inch. But still, that's about it. Let's go from the mid-60s from our New Year's Eve to midnight highs in the upper 50s, and you see how temperatures just cratered throughout the course of the day at Joplin Regional alone. And even though we're just seeing cloudy skies in Joplin, it is 15 degrees, feeling like 1 with that north wind at 14 miles per hour. We're already at 9 in Iola, and we're going to get colder from there. Everybody else in the lower to middle teens for the most part, but you factor in the wind, we're in the single digits for most of us, and some of us feels like it's about -2 to -8 as we continue deeper into this Saturday night. So while we're dealing with the winter side of this storm system, at least we're not dealing with the severe weather, which is still trying to hold together across parts of the deep south and the Tennessee Valley. For us, though, high pressure is going to start to clear things out as we go through tomorrow. And the same goes once we get rid of excuse me, of this upper level low. That's what's trying to bring in a few snow showers from the west as we go through the overnight. And you can see how, though, most of it wants to fall apart as it passes on through. Still, we'll keep some light snow showers in the forecast as we all start cold in the morning. But as far as temperatures go, it's going to be cold, but at least we'll see sunshine return during the day tomorrow. 10 in the morning, 20 by noon, highs are 24. With that north wind at 10 to 20, though, during the morning, it may feel as cold as 10 below in some spots before we see the sunshine return and start to brighten things up. Let's go 42 Monday, 46 Tuesday to keep things dry under partly to mostly sunny skies. Colder air returns Wednesday, maybe another shot for snow with the next system on Thursday, Chris. So storm systems to keep an eye on, sure, but fortunately nothing too out of hand on the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of back to it. This is a more normal winter for the area.
Yeah, unlike the mild Christmas we've had, this feels more like it.
That it certainly does. Nick, thank you so much. Turning to sports, the Missouri Southern women are back in action after the break.
Their first game since the 18th, first of the new year, of course, playing Northwest this afternoon. We've got the highlights. Plus, Pittsburgh State begins a 3-game road trip against Missouri Western. Kansas Shrine Bowl rosters were released today, and 6 local players have been selected to play in the game. They will represent the East team this summer in Pittsburgh. Galena's Brett Sarwinski has been selected to play as a defensive back. He's the 3rd Sarwinski brother to represent Galena and play in the Shrine Bowl, and he's looking forward to the game being held at Kearney Smith Stadium.
Oh, it's going to be awesome, you know. PJ and Nick, they both play here at Pitt State. I come up here every chance I get to watch them play, and being able to play on this field is going to be awesome, you know. I'll have support from my community. I know they'll be behind my back, and it's going to be a fun time.
Joining him on the roster, representing Frontenac, Cruz Blair will play on the line. Blair is a 3-time All-State player and helped lead the Raiders to a state runner-up finish this past season. Cody Shock from Columbus also on the line. Shock is an All-State player and is committed to Pitt State. Linebacker Brecken Troike from Girard, he had over 100 tackles this season and was an All-State selection. Colton Lacrone will represent Chanute, a first-team All-State player as well at defensive line. And Independence's Davis Merrick at kicker. The Southern women are off to a 7-3 start to the season. The Lions are back in action this afternoon for the first time since the Christmas break. On the road against Northwest, both teams 4-1 in conference play. The Lions strike first Maddie Stokes for 2. She finishes with a team-high 15 points and 7 boards. Mallory McConkey with some big-time shots early on. She knocks down a 3, then fights her way inside, gets the tough shot to go off the glass. Northwest up 19-9 after 1. McConkey stays rolling, but in the third quarter, Lions go on a little run. Stokes here again. Then Brooke Stauffer takes the pass, hits the 3. Missouri Southern falls short though, 61-51. The Gorillas on the road this evening, looking to start the new year in the win column. Pittsburgh State hits the floor against Missouri Western. Gorillas in rhythm early. Jamie Jackson on the pump fake, drives and finishes with the right hand. Later in the first, Erin Davis from the foul line. Pitt goes up 8-4, but then turnovers plague the Gorillas. Western with 8 steals in the first half. Bree Brudgetts takes it to the other end, 16-11 Western after 1. In the second, Budgetts swipes another one away. give and go with Connie Clark. Western goes up 15 at half. The Griffins go on to win 81-55. The men aim to kick off a 3-game road stretch with a win. First half, Pitt asserting their dominance. Bobby Arthur Williams Jr. glides in, finishes. Then Williams give and go. Finger rolls in. Western calls a timeout. Pitt goes up by 8. Later in the half, Western has the lead. It's Williams again, backs down the defender. He finishes with a double-double, 24 points, 10 boards. Girls up by 9 at half. They get it done 72-64. The Kansas Jayhawks host George Mason today. The Jayhawks' Big 12 opener against TCU was postponed due to COVID, so this one was put together at the last minute. The Patriots up for the challenge, though. They played the 6th-ranked Jayhawks tightly, but Kansas pulls out the win 76-67. Big night for the Kansas bench. Jalen Coleman lands, gets a team-high 20 points. Mitch Lightfoot adds 14. A Big 12 matchup, Oklahoma gets by Kansas State 71-69 this evening. Huge night for K-State's Mark Smith, 25 points, 16 rebounds. Elijah Harkless leads the way for the Sooners with 21.
Certainly a lot of basketball action going on. Good to see, the teams getting it together again after the holiday season.
Absolutely. It's nice to get back into the swing of things. Football, finally. I feel like we've been talking about football forever. Finally, it's tapering off.
Now we're into the I can't English tonight, but you know what I'm talking about. So do you guys. We'll be right back. We've got some road conditions and some closings to let people know about, Nick.
Yeah, roads are slick, especially the side roads in some areas, but we are going to try and improve things tomorrow with returning sun in the afternoon. Highs are 24. We'll be back in the 40s on Monday. Again, if anyone's going to be out and about, be careful. We've got links to road conditions and a list of the closings, too, at KOAMNewsNow.com, Chris.
And, of course, KOAM News Now app. That way, if you're out and about, you've got that ready to go.
Absolutely.
Danny, final check in sports.
Bobby Arthur Williams Jr., huge night tonight, helps lift the Pitt State men over Missouri Western.
Good deal. Guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. Make sure you stay safe out there, and thanks for making us part of your night.